EPCOT Center celebrates human achievements and innovation born from imagination.
Look, Mom, I'm flying. Why don't you try it?
The torque and transmission load data are looking good.
Great. Let's proceed to the rough road tests.
You got it.
WDW Radio, your information station.
It is March Madness in Walt Disney World, and this week we come to you from EPCOT Center for our Savory 16, a bracket-style quest for the best of what's new at the 2025 EPCOT International Flower and Garden Festival. Hello, my friend, and welcome to WDW Radio, your home and guide to Disney parks and experiences around the world. I am Lou Mangello, and this is show number 823. And for more than 20 years, we've been sharing our love of Disney together here on the podcast, my live video every Wednesday at 7:30 p.m. Eastern, blog, events, and much more. Whether you've been here since the beginning or this is your first time, thank you so very much for being here. And you can find everything over at www.radio.com. Be sure to stay tuned for our Disney Trivia Question of the Week for your chance to win a Disney Prize package. And please follow, connect, and chat with me on social. I am at Lou Mangello on Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn. And if you're looking for a keynote speaker, coach, courses, or conference, please visit loumangello.com to see how I can help you take your ideas and business to the next level and that we can work together. And if you like what you hear, please share the show and tell a friend. So sit back, relax, and enjoy this week's episode of the WDW Radio Show. It's March, and you know what that means. Sure, there's madness happening on the NCAA courts, but there's also madness happening right here in EPCOT Center, where we are recording live from the wonderfully air-conditioned Communicore Hall because it's Flower and Garden Festival season, and you know, or maybe you don't, this is my favorite festival of the year. And this year, while there are plenty of returning favorites, there's also so many new flavors to taste, try, and maybe even fall in love with. But here's the thing. They can't all be the best of the fest. So in the spirit of the season, we're bringing a little bit of tournament-style fun to Future World and World Showcase. I know it's not called that anymore, but it's always going to be that to me. And it's not going to be a Sweet 16 because, let's be honest, I'm still not a sweets guy. So I present to you the 2025 EPCOT International Flower and Garden Festival Savory 16. Insert dramatic NCAA music here. We are going to try 16 of the newest, most mouth-watering savory dishes from the outdoor kitchens, going head-to-head, bracket-style, mano-a-mano showdown. One by one, each one is going to battle it out until only one dish is left standing, being crowned this year's favorite. See what I did there? Oh, the festival. And of course, I could do this alone, but I'm not going to do this alone. We need different opinions, different palates, and maybe even a little friendly debate. So I've brought two very smart, relatively speaking, very hungry friends to help. Ladies first, Lisa Dinero-Glassner from the Castle Run, and I almost said Core Memory Candles, and ThousandCircles.com. Welcome back.
Thank you for having me. I am so excited for this show and Showdown.
And I want to welcome back Zach Brown from the Zach Brown Show, not the Zach Brown Band.
Hi, happy to be here for my first dining review.
No.
Yeah.
What?
I know, right?
You may remember Zach Brown, and I think Lisa was there, from the music of Disney's Animal Kingdom and music of EPCOT. Yeah, we did EPCOT together, right?
Yeah, we did both of those together. Those were epic shows.
I did not realize this is our first culinary adventure together.
I just realized that as I was sitting here. I was like, oh, this is my first time. This is fun.
Well, you are joining us for a very special, and by special I mean I've never tried this before, and I really hope it works, culinary chaos and tasting, judging as we help decide what dish and dishes move on who gets eaten, who gets eliminated, and ultimately who deserves the crown. And of course, you, my friend, are sitting here inside Communicore Hall with us at the table, and I'm going to want to hear from you. What have you tried and loved from this year's festival? From the new items, what's at the top of your must-eat or hopefully must-try list, or what looks and sounds most delicious and that you think should be crowned best of the fest. So let's get this bracket started. May the best bite win. And let's sort of get the Savory 16 on. And let's explain what we're doing. Because what we've done in past years, as we've come and enjoyed and reviewed the festival, is normally we sort of have a walkabout. And we start at booth 1, and we literally spend hours, really the whole day, walking through and trying many of the items, which is sometimes not fair by the time you get to those last few booths because you're so tired and you're so fluffy and you're so hungry. And I thought it would be fun to try something a little bit different this year. Embrace the bracket style, and let's take a look at what is new at this year's festival. And we did just spend how many hours? How many hours have we been here? 6 hours? 5 hours walking through. So we tried everything first, and then we're going to discuss and debate as we go through our Savory 16 bracket, which I'll explain to you. And I think for each matchup, we'll talk about the flavor profiles, the presentation, the creativity, the authenticity, maybe the reorder and re-eat ability, and then we'll decide collectively, which is why I have an odd number, which one advances to the next round. Do we all understand the rules?
Yes, I'm ready. And we've done all the homework in advance this time. And so we have our opinions firmly in place, and I'm so excited to get started.
Zach, Lisa said she's ready for like the past 2 hours. She would eat something like, okay, I'm ready. I'm ready to record right now.
Yeah, I think as we were going, we were getting our opinions, we were ready. So I'm full. I don't know if I'm focused, but I definitely have my opinions and I'm ready to go.
Yeah, and this will be interesting because what we did is we've sort of laid out the brackets and our 16, our 8 matchups in relatively, so we sort of like, I had them randomized and put into the bracket. So are the new items, and we only left off, I think there was maybe 1 or 2 new items at this year's festival that did not make it into the Savory 16, but we'll go sort of through each one, and then we'll sort of get down from the Savory 16 to the Edible 8, the Flavor 4, and our top taste of 2025. And first, let's just sort of go down the list. We have the Refreshment Outpost, the Jamaican Beef Patty, versus the new Yacht Grub, a brand new marketplace this year, and the trio of chips and dip. First of all, do you remember eating those seemingly hours and hours ago?
I vividly remember eating the trio of chips and dip. I will be thinking about them for quite some time, but I don't want to give any spoilers, so I won't say anything more.
It was one of the first ones that we tried, which sometimes, and when we've done these reviews before, I sometimes think it's not fair because you're super hungry when you're first eating them, but sometimes it's so long ago that you forget how good or sometimes how bad they were.
That's true. I definitely feel as the day went on, our outlook, I think, as we approached each dish, kind of wasn't as bright with every time. But those first few, I think, still stand very strong in their, in their flavor and our overall opinion of them.
Yeah, we divided and conquered. We sort of went our separate ways, grabbed something from a couple different booths, and then came together and then tried them all together, made our mental and written notes. So the first matchup is the trio of chips and dip from the Yacht Grub versus the Refreshment Outpost. Let's start with you and the trio of chips and dip because you seem very, very excited.
So do you want me to talk about both or just...
Go ahead. Talk about your own little battle and then what you think advances.
So there was no real battle here, let's be fair. There was a knockout. This was a KO, in my opinion. So it's the Refreshment Outpost Jamaican Beef Patty, which I think was with the Impossible beef, and the Yacht Grub trio of chips and dip. I need to open up my book to get the exact... Okay, yeah. So the trio of dips and chips was a caramelized onion dip, a whipped feta dip, and a pimento cheese with house-made potato chips and caviar. Phenomenal. And yes, I was hungrier because we had just started out, but I think I can be relatively objective and say that it was absolutely delicious. The chips that it came with like plenty of chips, all three of them. I think we differed in like which was our favorite dip. I thought the caramelized onion one might have been my favorite. Second, the feta, and then third, the pimento. But all three were excellent. So, I mean, for me, no competition. That wins the day. And then the
Jamaican beef patty.
So no hate to the Jamaican beef patty. I put worse things. I ate worse things today for sure. But yeah, the Jamaican jerk patty, and I don't mind Impossible beef. Like, I think it's a nice option when you can get it, but yeah, it just did not do it for me as a whole. Definitely.
So you were advancing the trio chips and dip, not even close. It's a blowout.
It's a blowout. It's not even fair, honestly. The poor Jamaican beef patty didn't stand a chance.
This is like a 1 versus 16 seed for you.
No.
Not even.
No, there was worse.
Well, 16 is the lowest that we have in the bracket. So this is, there is no 17th seed.
Well, okay. Yeah. So
she doesn't understand how bad. It's fine. It's okay.
I'm just going to keep picking my favorite. And my favorite in this round was, without question, the chips and dip.
Yeah, I fully agree. I understand that there are those that their diet requires that they have the meatless option, or they just make that a personal choice. That's fine. But I'm not one of those people. And it was fine. I just feel that the overall flavor was more spice for spice sake, but wasn't actually flavorful. It was a decent portion. I think the glaze that was on top of it was kind of nice. But as far as my pick moving forward is absolutely the dip trio. I love the whipped feta. I would go back to that time and time again. The pimento was fine. Nothing to write home about, but the caramelized onion was fantastic. We kind of kept going back for different things, and they had different, there was banana peppers on the pimento, which was nice. So it gave you a bit of a crunch and some heat, but without being really spicy. Far and away was great. A little bit of Yacht Club right there in EPCOT Center.
For those of you playing along at home, this is the upset of the bracket. On paper, for me, this was the upset of the bracket. I love me a good Jamaican beef patty, and when the seed sort of came out, I was like, I was going to literally just advance Jamaican beef patty without even trying. I'm like, trio of chips and dip. And look, this is a body built on carbohydrates and dips. I love a good tip. Dare I say, dare. I was incredibly surprised at how this one played out. So, a couple of things. Dollar for dollar, you're looking at $6.50 for the trio of chips and dip, $6.75 for the Jamaican beef patty. We will continue to discuss this as we move along. The trio of chips and dip at $6.50 might be the bargain. Well, there's another one down the road. It is because first of all, you get a big bag of house-made potato chips, which are fantastic. Like, they're not overly greasy, like they're super shareable. With the paprika. With a little bit, yeah. And then you have, and we sort of debated, like there was almost a little tournament going on there, like what dip was our favorite, the caramelized onion, whipped feta, or pimento cheese. I love them all for different reasons. And you got even like a little bonus, like little zhuzh caviar in there. So, that's right. Right. So caviar being what it is, it may be the value for what you get and the taste and the 3 different taste profiles. And then it's like your chocolate fell on my peanut butter. Sometimes if you mix and matched a little, you got the different textures going on. I loved everything about it. I'm with you. Jamaican beef patty. It's not because it was impossible, because you wouldn't almost know that it was impossible beef. And there's a lot of impossible stuff that I really like. I like the fact that there was a spiciness to it, and the papaya syrup, it countered it a little bit. It was a little bit overly sweet for me. There was a lot sort of happening there, but I didn't necessarily love the texture of the empanada itself. Sort of the it's not really an empanada, but sort of that same type of outer casing to it. But I'm with you. The Yacht Grub, brand new Yacht Grub trio of chips and dips moves on in an absolute blowout. Like, it wasn't, by halftime, it was over.
And also, like, if you're with a group of people, it's like a good amount of food, and it's super, super shareable. And also, if you happen to have, I mean, I won't spoil anything, but we did have a couple of other things at the table at the time. And we ended up like dipping those things into the dips as well. So it was just like a fun thing to have at the table to like mix with some of the other things that we were eating. And it's worth mentioning too, that like if you're vegan, obviously this isn't going to work for you because it has cheese and stuff in it, like as opposed to like the fully plant-based, I think, Jamaican beef patty that has the Impossible in it. I don't mind Impossible at all. Like I like Impossible in a good dish. So if you're a fan of Impossible, like it's not that didn't do it for me. It was, yeah, I mean, and like I was going to say, like if you're vegan, the chips and dip won't work for you. But if you're just avoiding meat, it's really just a cheese-based dish. And the chips were killer. Like the like house-made potato chips were like fresh sliced, fresh fried. Like
imagine sitting on your couch at home watching the Sweet 16 with that sort of sitting in front of you. Like that's a good time. Like I would love to have that at home for like a little like party, a little cocktail party with that sort of being in the center of the table.
Like Lisa was saying about without spoiling what we'll talk about later, there were other things that we kind of dipped in the dips besides the chips. So I don't want that to jade my decision, but on their own, those chips is a great shareable option. You really did get a lot of chips, a good portion of all three dips. And I think this was a good way to kind of start your evening at the Flower and Garden Festival, because you just get a little bit of taste of everything, but you're not filling up right away. And so everybody's getting a taste of these things and not going, oh, I shouldn't have done this and save room for later. This is a really great start to your time here at EPCOT.
All right, let's move on to the next round. The next in the bracket at the Citrus Blossom in the Odyssey is the lumpia with plant-based pork, green papaya salad, and yuzu sweet and sour. That comes in at $6. And here inside Communicorp Hall is the EPCOT Farmers Feast, which we should note is this is a menu that's going to change through. There's will be like a seasonal change in the menu as the festival goes on. So depending on what date you come here, you are going to have a different set of options, which I like. So the early bloom, which is now through April 5th, includes what we tried, which is the grilled asparagus with pancetta bacon, spring peas, frisee lettuce, truffle sherry vinaigrette, and a soft poached egg. If you come in the springtime between April 6th and May 3rd, there's grilled peaches and burrata, and I've never met a burrata I didn't like. Seared pork tenderloin, a warm corn cookie. Then there's summer solstice, May 4th to June 2nd. Heirloom tomatoes and fresh mutts, which you gotta love. Grilled beef strip loin and peach cobbler. But today's matchup, and Zach, you can go first, is the lumpia versus the Farmer's Feast grilled asparagus, which we just tried now. And again, the lumpia seems like it was many, many moons ago.
All right, so for all of the non-meat eater impossible people that I ran off a moment ago, come on back, because out of these two things, I am for this lumpia. On its own, it was fantastic, but for me, it was the dipping sauce. It almost to me tasted like an orange Tootsie Pop. Like it just had this really great, bright, it was sweet, but not overly sweet. I grew up with a neighbor who made homemade lumpia all the time, and this I could not tell was being made, quickly in a park. It was delicious. I loved it.
Not even close for you.
Not even close. Very strong.
yeah.
By the way, you know where Tootsie Roll got its name from?
The Tootsie Roll?
Because you called her a Tootsie Pop.
Oh.
Which was the extension of the original Tootsie Roll.
Let's pretend that
This is more useless trivia that you get when he said that. Lisa's rolling her eyes like, really? I thought the inventor, who was like just a guy who worked for a candy company, nicknamed it after his daughter. His name was Tootsie. There you go. It's not the Dustin Hoffman movie. Yeah, I was afraid that's where he was going to go. All right, sorry, go ahead.
That's a great name for your daughter to have if you're going to name a candy after it. So I'm going to echo Zach and then some. So the lumpia, first of all, I had to wait in a very, very long line for it. So I'm thrilled that it was delicious. Again, just like Zach said, this is a plant-based pork. So it wasn't that it was impossible in the Jamaican beef patty. This was delicious. You couldn't tell that it was plant-based at all. The sweet and sour sauce is actually a yuzu sweet and sour. Now that I'm reading that, I'm realizing why I liked it that much more, because I love that yuzu flavor. And the green papaya salad that they served it with was lovely. You kind of wanted to get all the different aspects of it in your mouth at one time, because it was delicious, really, really beautifully made. Lumpia all day long. The asparagus, was fine. I mean, I like asparagus. I like a poached egg. I like good bacon. Like it just sort of was all kind of coexisting on the plate and didn't really come together for me in a particular.
Do you think it suffers from being the last thing that we ate today?
I mean, as far as my enjoyment of it, maybe, but like I think I can be objective enough to. I mean, certainly in this competition, regardless of when in the day I ate it, that lumpia blows the Farmer's Feast grilled asparagus out of the water.
Yeah, we're in agreement once again. When you brought that lumpia over, I loved it. And so if you don't know what lumpia is, think of it's like a very small, narrow egg roll, almost, or like a fried egg roll. One, you would not know there was plant-based pork inside. Had you not told me, I would not know.
I don't know.
That yuzu sweet and sour dipping sauce was just... But then if you include that green papaya salad that comes with it, in every bite that you have, it's this explosion of like flavors and textures and sweet and savory and crunchy and soft and fried. And it comes in at $6. And you get 3 of them, not 1, not 2. You get 3 lumpia for $6. I think, too, it's a great value. There's no argument here. That clearly advances to the next round.
And again, by yourself, great. And if not, it's shareable. So you're not getting full just on one spot. It's really great to bring your friends. And again, if it's just you, no shame in that either. But just moving about, be like, you get one of these, and then move on to the next. It's a great option.
All right, moving on to the next in the bracket. We're going under the sea because we have at the... Zach is doing, I don't know, you did some sort of little hula dance there, but I guess that's your sort of version of under the sea. We're going to the new Beach Grub over on the walkway between World Showcase and the Imagination Pavilion with a seafood bake with shrimp, mussels, clams, andouille sausage, red potatoes, corn on the cob, butter, white wine broth, and grilled sourdough goes up against the Florida Fresh conch fritters located just outside here of, it's on the outside area of Communicore Hall. We'll sort of do this back and forth. Lisa, conch fritters, which we had very, very early on in our culinary tour today, versus the seafood bake, which we just had. And the conch fritters, you get about 5 conch fritters in there. They come in at $6.50. Seafood bake, again, there's a lot of seafood in there. Comes in at, I think, a very reasonable, especially for as much as you get, $8.50.
So I know this is going to get more difficult at some point, but we're not there yet because again, and I hate to say it, I have yet to have a seafood bake at a festival that I love. They just don't tend to work for me. And so again, it's not a very difficult competition whatsoever. The seafood bake was also one of the last things that we had, but again, it has nothing to do with that. I just didn't care for it that much. The conch fritters, however, were wonderful. They're with a key lime aioli, which was really, really nice. And when I was talking before about having some other things at the table to dip your trio of chips and dip in, this is actually the thing I was thinking of because we happen to have them all on the table at once. And the key lime aioli was awesome with the conch fritters, but it was also good to play with the different chips and dips and try them in that. So easy win again for me, the conch fritters.
I fully agree. This is an interesting matchup. So I'm a Florida native, so I know my seafood. And so this boat, being dueling seafood here, it is far and away conch fritters for me. They are fairly large. I would say hush puppy size. They were tasty. They weren't overly breaded. Sometimes you can get them that way. I really like the ones over at the Old Key West Resort that you can get at the Gurgling Suitcase. These are similar. Like Lisa said, the aioli was great. And again, the bonus of getting to dip it in our trio of sauces was just fantastic. But on their own, I really enjoyed these and would come back and will come back and get them again. The bake, it was a quick no for me. I am no stranger to a low boil or a seafood bake, and this didn't hit for me. Unfortunately, I was really looking forward. I like, clams and mussels and all that, but yeah, like Lisa, just have yet to find the seafood bake. I believe Disney can do it, but they have yet to do it. They're still trying to figure out how to make that light bulb.
So they've done it before because versions of the boil and bake have sort of made their way through different festivals. And year over year, like you said, They were not my favorite. However, a couple of years ago in the American Adventure, they had one that we liked. And I don't remember if it was a boil or a bake.
It was the bake.
It was the seafood bake with
It was almost like a shepherd's pie. But it was like a seafood, yeah. And that might have been the difference, that it was kind of more of a bake than a boil. I don't know. But
I think trying to be as objective as possible, I think the seafood bake is probably going to be a fan favorite for a lot of people. If this is something that maybe you don't get at home, you want something that's like you can sit down and have it shareable. I think if it's earlier on in your day and meal, because there's a lot, like you get a lot of food in it. There was 2 huge pieces of like toasted, crusty bread in there. So I think for $8.50, the value is definitely there. However, it's no contest. It was the Comforters swept the stadium floor with the seafood bake. I've been coming to Florida since I was a little kid. I've spent a lot of time in Key West and South Florida. I've had my share of conch fritters, and I've got the physique to prove it. They were exactly the way they were supposed to be. Crunchy on the outside, soft and warm and pillowy on the inside. But a lot of times you can go, especially to some touristy places, and conch fritters are more fritter than they are conch. Yeah. And sometimes you get lucky if you find, I love being able to bite into it and taste the conch in there too. There's nothing fishy about it at all. So if you're like, wait a minute, I don't think I like conch, you probably will, because anything fried, for the most part, is pretty good. I think it's a great value for what you get for $6.50. Again, it's shareable. I think the dip is fantastic. So without question, the conch fritters move on. We're now going to move to fleur-de-lis and hanami. So fleur-de-lis is obviously over in France, where there is the brand new gnocchi, which I always thought gnocchi was an Italian thing, but it's gnocchi, and I'm going to Provençal. I can't pronounce all these words. It's a pulled duck confit, rosemary sauce, and herbs with a Provençal style gnocchi. That is going to go up against hanami, my favorite of all, of not just the booths, but favorite of all of the pavilions in Japan. And it's takoyaki. And this is one that I think a lot of people are going to see the first word and they're going to jump ship, because the first word out of the gate is octopus. And you're like, I'm tapping out. It's octopus taco balls served with spicy mayo and okonomiyaki sauce, which I love, and crunch rice pearls. Again, we'll go back and forth. Lisa, I already know where this is going to fall for you, but as objectively as you can, the takoyaki, where you get 4 of the takoyaki balls coming in, it's a little bit more expensive. It's $7.75 versus the gnocchi from France, which comes in at $6.95.
I think I'm going to surprise you right now. I think I'm going to shock you right now. And I'll fully, it's like right, I mean, it's almost not fair that these were in the initial bracket against each other, because
But that's what makes it fun.
Right, it is. And every decision until now has been easy peasy, like slam dunk. So again, if I don't win this round, or my choice doesn't win out this round, I'm at peace with that, because they're both phenomenal. But the takoyaki, to me, and understand, I love the hanami booth. Like, I think everything at the hanami booth tends to be phenomenal. The takoyaki happens to be probably my least favorite of the items, particularly it's the savory items at the hanami booth. I love this. I love the steamed bun. I love the ramen cup. I love the fushi. Especially this year, they're doing the fushi a little.
Listen to how disappointed that kid is that you don't like the takoyaki.
I think the takoyaki is great. However, I'm like going back and forth in my head as I'm talking, but I'm, like I said, if I get outvoted on this one, I'm completely at peace with it. But that gnocchi was delicious. Let me open up to the page. Yeah, the fleur-de-lis. So it's the gnocchi provençal herbs, canard confit, sauce romarin. I'm sure I'm saying the wrong this last. So it's pulled duck confit, rosemary sauce, and provincial herbs on gnocchi. It's a lovely dish. They're both wonderful. The takoyaki happens to be like my least favorite of the hanami dishes, and the gnocchi kind of surprised me, and that might be why it's pulling ahead for me. But I'm going to put my vote in for the gnocchi and let you guys battle out the rest.
Wow. Okay, so that you did surprise me. This one is the first one that I think is a lot closer in the battle. You know, this both teams showed up to play at this match. So I'll start with France, which I enjoyed. We said that it was almost like French Thanksgiving. So instead of turkey, you've got the duck, there's the bread. It was delicious. The rosemary was not overpowering. The herbes de Provence is one of my favorite seasonings. I thought it was really nice. And enjoyed it. I mean, we were so full and I think hot at that moment that I probably didn't enjoy it as much as I could have. But I loved it. It was comfort food. It was really, really good. But it is the octopus for me. It's creamy. It's soft. The dichotomy of the crunchy that you get for the pearls to this, I just dig. And again, it's shareable or not. I don't want to share them because they're so gosh darn delicious. But again, it's this thing that they're poppable. It's like the fritters. They're these easy, they're the size of like donut holes. You know, they're not too big that it's too much, but they're not little that you're feeling ripped off. I thought it's a good portion, and that's who I vote for.
It's a lot of pressure. It was a lot of pressure, which is podcast gold, but this is why we needed an odd number. So and I'm sure you have as well, I've had takoyaki in Japan. It is a street food, most popular in Osaka. Every other vendor is making takoyaki fresh. When they come out, and like you need to give it like a good 25 minutes to let it cool off because it's molten lava inside. But it is a classic Japanese street food, which I think are made very, very well here. I love the drizzle of the sauces on top. You get it's super shareable. I will agree with you, Lisa, in that if I was to go to Hanami and they said, Lusan, you can only get one, not only would I be sad, but it probably wouldn't be what I would pick. Because the ramen cup, those chilled ramen noodles in the salad shaken cup with the grilled chicken and that yuzu soy vinaigrette and chili oil, which I could just drink out of the bottom of the thing. Even the frushi this year we tried, which is like an upgrade from past frushis. I almost wish we had it on the list because it was that much better than it has been in the past.
Yeah, so the frushi is so worth mentioning. Frushi is usually like, I mean, it's cute, but it's gimmicky. It's sort of geared more toward kids. It's usually like rice and fruit with like whipped cream on top, basically. And what it reminds me of this year is if you've ever been to like a Thai restaurant and gotten for dessert the sticky rice with sliced ripe mango and coconut milk on top, it tastes a lot like that. And I think
what it is, right? It's the coconut.
Yeah, it's the warm rice. I don't know if there is.
It's a coconut cream sauce with toasted coconut. That's
it's the coconut sauce. So instead of it being whipped cream this year, it's that warm coconut sauce like you would get on that Thai sticky rice with mango dessert, and that's one of my favorite desserts like in real life. And the fact that the frushi sort of emulates that this year. Yeah, it bears mentioning. I mean, frushi's always on the menu, but the frushi's definitely different this year. And if you've written it off in past years, I think it's worth revisiting this year.
Because I've always looked at frushi as, if you don't like sushi, but other people are going there, this is what you can get because it's accessible to anybody. Kids can have it and feel like they're eating sushi. But now it's like, oh, I want to actually go get it because it's a not so sweet, but very, very tasty dessert.
I usually turn my nose up at frushi because, like Lisa said, it's gimmicky, it's Instagrammable, it's pretty. This was delicious. It was light. It was a muted sweet, which is really my favorite. It's not overtly sugary. The coconut cream was fantastic, and it's a dessert that you don't feel guilty eating. You're not walking away feeling heavy like you just had a big, sugary donut or piece of cake. Like, this was really good.
Now, all that being said,
big lead up.
Because and I think this is really interesting because one of the criteria that I gave is presentation. And as you know, in Japan, presentation is everything. We eat with our eyes first. Everything in Japan is presented beautifully. It is. It's just, even the takoyaki, there's care in the way it's presented. There's care in the way it's prepared, and the care the way it's given to you. Even like the little cups that they use for the little strawberry nigori sake, like, are different than we get anywhere else. France is a different story. When the gnocchi came out, it smelled delicious, and it had that sort of warm comfort. Like you said, it's French Thanksgiving, if it were. The presentation is not beautiful. And I first looked at it, with a little bit of sadness and disappointment. I'm like, well, I'm probably not going to like this because and I'm trying to sort of, it's not, at least the one that we had, the visual presentation was not incredibly appealing, right? It was sort of, it looked like turkey and gravy almost.
Try the brown stuff.
Right, and you couldn't really see the sort of the gnocchi underneath the sauce and things like that. So I went in with very, very low expectations, and then I tried it. And we were like, what, Ro? This is not what we were expecting. It was delicious. You're right, it tasted like French Thanksgiving and comfort food. And I think, again, people see pulled duck confit and they're like, I'm out. I don't like duck. I don't even want to try duck. It's Daffy, it's Donald, Daisy. I don't want to try any of it. I think if it's prepared correctly, as it is here, it's delicious. And it was a warm day today, and we were near the end of our circle, and I was like, wow, I really, really like this. All that to say, if I'm standing in between those two booths and I can go left or right and I can only pick one, it's a lot of pressure. I feel guilty. Zach is like, just say it, man. Just say it.
I felt guilty too.
I do. Like, I feel like there's like kinship with.
I'm kind of glad that I got to go first because I would hate to be the tiebreaker right now. Because and if you're bringing up presentation, it's also just like different. I don't know. It was one of the most different things that I liked of the day. And the gnocchi, gnocchi is an Italian dish, but it's not like Italian gnocchi. Yeah. It's almost like a big flat dumpling.
Not heavy at all.
No, it's really not. And I am very particular about duck. Like I don't like duck when it's not prepared the way I like it prepared. And this is like
Zach just saw me write my answer down as moving up the bracket, and it's a little bit of shock and awe. Are you disappointed in me? No. I wrote down gnocchi. Gnocchi is going to move forward.
They were both delightful. And like Lisa says, gnocchi usually is like, it isn't what I thought it was going to be. It's not who he says he is. It was almost like they looked like toast points, or kind of like these small like bread rounds, and they were delightful, but they were not heavy. They weren't hard. I was kind of expecting almost like real hard kind of crust on the edge by the look of it. I think you said it perfectly. When we looked at it and we ate with our eyes first, I was disappointed, but then when we tasted, it was delicious. But I'm still standing by my octopus.
We'll have to go back and try this one again. It'll be very interesting to see what moves on. All right, let's move down to the second half of the bracket, where we have over in Mexico, and I'm going to, please forgive my pronunciations of basically everything, Jardin de Fiestas, the Taco de Camarón, versus La Isla Fresca and the Jamaican Jerk Chicken. Lisa, I think you went first last time. Oh, Zach he's like you. This isn't even a contest for you, is it? Oh,
no. This is not even close. They were both good. Where is it? Where's the one from Mexico? I want to start there. Are we talking about the tostada? Is that what we're talking about?
The taco de Camarón.
Hold on, I got to go to the book. It's a great big book of everything. What's right here? Okay, so it was good. I liked...
Read the ingredients.
So this is a crispy tempura battered shrimp in a flour tortilla with dried hibiscus flowers. That's what those things were. And a chipotle aioli. So it had a spice to it, but not... It wasn't overtly spicy. The chipotle gave it this smokiness that I really liked. Now, the hibiscus flowers kind of give it almost this, like... It's weird. It's bitter and sweet and some interesting texture, but the shrimp was nice. It was lightly... battered, which was nice, so you still were able to taste the shrimp. And again, I'm funny about shrimp, so I enjoyed this. However, this is, if you're going to pick one team to go all the way, this is who we're putting our money on. It was the jerk chicken. So I'm excited. I get to talk about this first. It's like sharing the band that nobody knows about, and you're like, you got to hear this. Anyway, the portion size was huge. It was in a large bowl. You got the rice. You got a large chicken leg that had excellent flavor. It wasn't spiced just for spice sake. It had an amazing flavor. And then you got 2 plantains. It wasn't just like a bit of a plantain. You had 2. This was a full meal. You had a meat, a side, and a dessert. It was fantastic. I will come back multiple times for this meal.
And just to be clear, that the taco is like it comes out sort of like an open face soft taco.
Smaller, kind of like a street taco.
Right, like a street taco. And that's from Mexico. And La Isla Fresca you can find located in between France and Morocco. The taco comes in at $8, and the Jamaican jerk chicken comes in at $6.75.
Steve.
Yeah, so as Zach was starting to talk in a very complimentary way about the taco, I was getting confused. I was like, wait, were we at the same table while we were eating the Jamaican jerk chicken? Okay, the taco is great. It's lovely. It's delicious. Like if you're at Mexico and you're in the mood for a taco, this will knock it out of the park.
You guys are talking about it. They're like the 15th seed, like, look at that little school go and get in there, and good for you for making the tournament.
You did it.
But you're going to get smoked so fast.
Yeah, the Mexico Pavilion needs no defense. It always has a long line, and it always has good food, and this was absolutely very consistent with their food. Like, it was great. The taco de camarón was great. That being said, the Jamaican jerk chicken was the surprise of the day. Yes. It's a huge dish of food. Even the beans and rice that are in it were delicious. There was 2 big, thick, pieces of fried plantain in there, which is one of my favorite things in the whole world. And the chicken itself was some of the best grilled chicken I've had in recent memory, not on property or off. Shocked me. And the price tag was $6.75. I mean, I could bring my kids to the festival, get them each one of those and call it a night. They would leave full. It was a good sized piece of chicken, a huge bowl of rice and beans, and 2 pieces of plantain. I mean, for $6.75, I feel like there was a typo in there somewhere, but I hope they don't.
It made me think it's like you go on TikTok. Somebody on the TikTok shop made a mistake because that's what this is.
Yeah, and when you read the description, so I didn't realize at the time, but it's pigeon pea rice, roasted sweet plantains, and what they say is cinnamon butter, which I didn't realize I was eating at the time, but I guess that makes sense. It
just makes me love it all the more.
I'm so excited that it was so good because I feel like it's the kind of thing that people would just walk right past and not realize, and to be able to tell you how good it is. Yeah, I mean, without question, the poor taco was delicious. But I'm sorry.
If it was in a different bracket, it would have had a chance. It could have advanced if it was in a different seed.
And I think some people might hear jerk chicken and be scared, thinking that it's going to be really hot and spicy. But this, I mean, it definitely was the jerk flavoring, but it wasn't anything crazy. And you had those plantains right there to kind of balance out that heat to the sweet. It was fantastic. I'm so excited. I'm so full, but I want more.
So, look, there's a lot to unpack. So, first of all, you walk right by it. So La Isla Fresca is located in between France and Morocco. We're here on a Saturday. It's spring break. It is a very, very busy time here. La Isla Fresca probably had one of the shortest lines that we encountered all day, because maybe people see that and well, I don't want ceviche and I don't like jerk chicken. That's probably not for me. It's too spicy. When you brought it to the table, I have never seen, that I've been coming to EPCOT festivals since the festival started, I have never seen a single plate that large, like a bowl that big. It is a huge, leg of chicken. They are not afraid to use jerks. Again, sometimes you see spicy this, whatever. And kudos to the chefs at EPCOT for not being afraid to make jerk chicken that lives up to the name jerk chicken, right? A true, Caribbean style, jerk chicken. You also get that plate of that pigeon pea rice, which is, that in itself could have been a meal. And then it's a 3-course meal, because then you have, those roasted sweet plantains. By the way, nothing on this dish is fried. Nothing on the dish is fried. It's a grilled chicken. It's a roasted chicken. It's grilled plantains. It's the pigeon pea rice. The way I look at things, that makes it somewhat healthy-ish.
Here we say healthy.
But it is, like we said, it's a 3-course meal. Please, Disney, EPCOT, if you're Walt, if you're listening, do not change a thing. Do not change the portion size. Do not change the price. This is not only, it is the steal. It is the steal dollar value-wise, presentation-wise, it was beautiful. Flavor-wise, it was beautiful. The three of us shared it, and there was still left over. Jamaican jerk chicken, like, if I'm going to, like, my, betting app, not that I have it on my phone, this is where, I don't know what the odds are, but the Jamaican jerk chicken is probably the odds-on favorite right now.
It's the Costco hot dog of Flower and Garden. Like, never raise the price, please. I don't know how you made it so, like...
Have you tried the chicken bake at Costco? 5 big booms, baby. Go ahead.
I don't even want to say it because I don't want anybody to hear me, but you could, like, almost double that price.
What?
I know. Never mind. It's not. You couldn't. I would hate it if you did that. And I wouldn't like. But no, I mean, seriously, like, phenomenal plate of food. Some of the best chicken I've had in recent memory. I love plantains. Like, even the rice and beans was awesome. Portion size was huge. And it's $6.75. Like, what in the world? Like, I'm all day long. Sorry.
And this is nothing against the taco. The taco was fine. Like, it was great. But this is, this is like University of Florida playing a Division 17 school.
I mean, I think it just goes to show you how long we've talked about this one item in comparison to all the others.
We'll see as we move down. So it makes it into the edible 8, and it's going to go up against the winner of the Primavera Kitchen versus the Refreshment Port. The Primavera Kitchen is over in Italy, and the Refreshment Port is near Canada. Over in Italy, the Primavera Kitchen is Primavera Cacio e Pepe e Gamberti. So it's penne pasta with shrimp, zucchini, peas, asparagus, a creamy cacio e pepe. So cacio e pepe is a very simple sauce, right? It's like cream and pepper, and that's it. And so they include a bunch of shrimp, some zucchini, so you get a little bit of vegetable for flavor and color in there, in the cacio e pepe sauce. And then you're up against the Provence poutine over in the Refreshment Port, which I'm trying to get up in my little... You're not helping me. These pull it up. Where is it? There it is. Where is it? Okay. So it's Herbes de Provence seasoned French fries, goat brie. I'm so excited. Lavender honey, hazelnut croquant, and fresh lavender. Who went first last time?
I'm so glad that we're back into the easy ones because the last few have really taken it out of me. So, my last name ends in a vowel. I love Italian food. I don't tend to gravitate toward it at festivals, admittedly, because Florida heat and pasta don't generally mesh that well for me. It's not like what I crave. That being said, I just didn't love this. The Primavera, to me, it was a bit oversalted. I didn't love it as a dish generally. It wasn't, I took a bite of it and was kind of done. In contrast, the Provence poutine, we ate early on. So again, we were all still really hungry at that point, but I don't care. It was phenomenal. Like, it was probably the best poutine I think I've ever had at Refreshment Port. So the fries themselves.
That's saying a lot because the poutine that's pretty good.
Because the balance of flavors was just lovely. So the fries themselves are really nicely done. They're seasoned beautifully with like the herbes de Provence. The goat brie that's served with it was wonderful. And then I think what did it and the hazelnut croquant added like a nice little like crunch to the whole thing, like a really good texture. And hands down, like to me, the lavender honey that it was drizzled with just took it to a next level. And it's not like gooped down with honey that you're like trying to like pull the fries out of it. They're stuck in. It's like somebody took the finest little drizzler and drizzled like the honey onto the fries, and
a wisp of honey.
Yeah, a wisp of honey. So of lavender honey. Doesn't that sound lovely? This is way up there, surprisingly on my list, because again, a lot of times like you're in the heat at EPCOT and the last thing that you want is like heavy poutine and heavy Italian food, but this was done really, really well. And I wish there was more chunks of brie on there, but I think you could always...
There was more chunks of brie on there until you dropped one on the ground. Let's have a moment. I know, Zach, you missed it. It wasn't a pretty sight.
I thought we were going to be cool and not talk about the dropping of the...
I have pictures. I'll post it.
So I'm not going to spend much time on the pasta because I was not a fan. I'm sure there's somebody who it's its favorite, just like, somebody's favorite Disney movie is the North Avenue Irregulars. I don't know who they are.
Look at
that deep cut. The surprise for me was the poutine. Now, when I hear poutine, I think gravy on fries. So this not having gravy was very surprising. But like Lisa said, the thing about this was the honey. And it wasn't like pancakes smothered in, syrup. It was just there enough. When I looked at it immediately, I went, there doesn't seem to be much on these fries. But I'm so glad there wasn't, because you just kind of got these little tastes. You were able to taste all of the things. I do not, ask anyone in my family, I am not a hazelnut person. But the hazelnut, I know.
You don't like Nutella?
Sorry.
I know. Remember Zach?
Wait, it's okay. Come back. So these were great. I really, really like these. The seasoning was light. It wasn't overly salty, or like they were trying to go, hey, we've got, herbs de Provence on this. It was light. It was a very nice thing. And did you talk about what else we got to do with said fries?
Oh, I haven't mentioned it, but go ahead.
This was the third thing in our holy trinity of dipping sauces into our dips that we mentioned earlier. So this was one of my favorite stops. I know it was early, but I just enjoyed this. It was a happy, happy time in my life that I'm going to think back on fondly and tell my children about someday.
All right, so let me start here. I too am Italian. I come from a very Italian household, and I've got the emotional scars and guilt to prove it. However, and look, I hate to say this year over year, but Italy for me does not often deliver well on the promise of the festivals. I'm sometimes, and I understand maybe sometimes they're trying to sort of create dishes for not just, an American palate, but, there's so many international visitors or something that, but I think it often misses the mark. Cacio e pepe is something that, when made right, it's a simple Italian comfort food dish, penne pasta and shrimp. It was fine. I think it was one of the better of the dishes that I've had in Italy. But I agree. I think it was oversalted. I think it's going to appeal to a lot of, I think it will. I think on its own, just standing alone, it'll appeal to a lot of people. It's very accessible. Again, all that to say, if French fries were a health food, I would be an Adonis, because I could eat French fries for breakfast. I could, like hash browns in the morning, French fries in the afternoon, French fries at night. Like I could just eat it all the time. And I've never met a poutine I didn't like. And when you look at the ingredient lists, French fries, goat brie, lavender honey, hazelnut, and lavender, it seems like this very sort of eclectic mix of things that not only shouldn't be like in the same room together, but they shouldn't be laying down with the French fries. However, to whatever genius, mad scientist is hiding behind the walls here at EPCOT Center, like, kudos to you, my friend, because this works on every level. It's a great portion size. It's super shareable. We talked about, imagine having a big bowl of this sitting on the couch, just like, playing cards, watching a game or whatever with friends. Now, it does come in at $9, which you're like, wow, that seems like I would spend it $9 on this all day, every day, without even blinking an eye. I think it is arguably one of, if not the most unique flavor profiles of anything that we tried today. And maybe anything that I've tried at a festival, period. I just think it's so out of the box. It was such a pleasant surprise. This is going to be a very interesting next round.
I think it's interesting when you come to these festivals that there are certain foods that definitely evoke the season that you're in. And it does have that spring feel. It's like, it felt like you were sitting in, like a picnic or with flowers or whatever. It really just set you in that flower and garden mindset.
So the next two brackets, I think, are going to be these were not set up in any way. The bracket list was laid out before we got here, right? I printed this on my computer, as you can see. I'll post this in the clubhouse, and I'll post it on the WW Radio site, so you can sort of have your own bracket challenge. Coming up next, we're going back to La Isla Fresca and the seafood ceviche, and we're going over to the first time to the United States of America, the American Adventure, and Magnolia Terrace, with the beautiful Tiana topiary, by the way, and the grilled Gulf oysters. Mr. Zachariah Brown, I will let you go first.
Gee, thanks. So this one is the one we're all just kind of looking at each other. So let me start with America, just to kind of get it out of the way.
It's a salute to all marketplaces, but mostly America.
Yeah. I'm sure the chef behind this is a lovely individual. But I just got to be honest. I was born on the Gulf Coast, and so I know oysters. I'm no stranger to, fried, grilled, baked. I love them baked. So when I heard that there were grilled oysters on the menu, I was really excited, actually. And so we waited for these. The chefs were doing an amazing job. The demand was quite high. There's a long line. Those guys were doing the best they could to get them out as fast as they could. So kudos to the team in the the American Adventure Pavilion. They had a dusting of breadcrumbs on top, so it had kind of a nice crunch, and it was buttery. But these were not for me. It was a very quick no right out the gate. It was a disappointing outing from the American Adventure from me. So moving over to the Isla Fresca, the ceviche, it looked like a smaller portion, but it was packed full of seafood. There was scallops, I believe. Help me out. Where we go? Yep. Shrimp, scallops, and fish with citrus radish and a word that I can't pronounce. What is that? I think it was the sauce that it was in, maybe?
Tulpe.
All right. And so the shrimp was great. It was probably some of the better shrimp at the festival. Between the two, that is, the ceviche is my pick.
I mean,
listen, you call it as you see it. You call the game as it was played.
I mean, I'll make a call, but I will say, as I'm looking at the next batch of I'm getting stressed out, and this one I'm at peace with. But okay.
Listen, be honest.
Listen, oysters are hard to mass produce. They are. That being said,
in the heat.
That being said, it's rare that I don't swallow the food I put in my mouth, and I didn't this time. It went into the napkin. I'm sure there's batches that are phenomenal, and maybe I just didn't get one of those. But the oysters was bottom of the barrel for me today, probably, of all of the things that we tried. The ceviche, I mean, I didn't love the ceviche either. This is, not the strongest of the competitions that we have going on, but between the two, I don't have that much to say about it. I mean, it was sitting next to the jerk chicken at the table, which was one of the best things that I ate all day, so that wasn't fair to it. But yeah, I mean, between the Gulf oysters and the ceviche certainly wins, but probably mostly because of how much I did not like the Gulf oysters.
Yeah, this is not like the Harlem Globetrotters playing the Washington whatevers. Grilled Gulf oysters, every part of that it is not an easy dish to make anywhere. Certainly not in an outdoor kitchen, making it for, mass amounts of people in the middle of the hot sun. The flavor of sort of the grill, right, with the Cajun andouille sausage and the butter and lemon makes everything better, right? You put some andouille sausage on it. The flavor of everything but the oyster was great. I too did not enjoy the flavor of the oyster. And I love oysters. I love raw oysters. I don't necessarily love, if you go to New Orleans, to go to Dre's, you get a good grilled oyster. I don't think this did not land for me. I do like a nice ceviche, and again, we were nearing closer to the end of the day. I loved the shrimp. I love the citrus and the radish flavor. I had a couple of pieces of scallops that were good. Is this like is it a hands down winner for the ceviche? Probably, but only because of how much I just was not impressed with the oysters at American Adventure. And you talk about the line being very long, and this year the traditional muffaletta is back, and the spicy chicken gumbo, which we've had in the past, is very, very good. And I think that is the play. If you're going to American Adventure, either of those two or both of those two actually make a nice meal. Again, we might have had a bad batch because oysters, you can get a bad batch. But yeah, so we're not going to spend a lot of time. The seafood ceviche moves forward. And in the final round of the Savory 16, we're going to go over China and Mexico are going to battle head-to-head, mano a mano. China, again, I think China, and I've came to the festival once before, China had a lot of really good items. They had these house-made cheesy crab wontons and the pan-fried vegetable dumplings, which are great. But new this year is the satay beef bao bun. It's filled with pan-fried beef, red onions, and jalapeno in a Chinese satay peanut sauce. You goes first.
So in China, we had the bao bun. I love bao buns. I sorely miss the ones that we had at the Wave before it was Steakhouse 71. Those were great. When we say that the eyes eat first, when this showed up, it didn't look the greatest. And these were kind of on the fattier side, a little bit less meat. The flavor, I'm not even sure quite how to describe it. It was not my favorite. We do often see a lot of bao buns or similar items at festivals, and this was probably one, like you, to use your phrase, that impressed me the least in comparison. So it wasn't something that I'd pick. Now, in Mexico, the tostada was nice. I mean, it wasn't anything that I'm going to tell people to rush out and get, but it was good. It was, I think, a shareable portion. The beef was really good. The barbacoa was great. The guacamole was nice and creamy, and you had a really great portion of all the ingredients, and even had like pumpkin seeds on it. So interesting ingredients that you're really only going to see during Flower Garden Festival season. And I enjoyed that. I really did. So it was good. You got to break it up over, multiple people. The bottom was nice and crispy, so it wasn't kind of falling all over the place. It acted kind of almost like one solid nacho. You were able to kind of break it up and get bits to share with the tape.
This is the easiest of the entire list, potentially, for me. So, and I love a good bao bun. And as I'm reading the description, I'm like, what did we get? Because the description is the beef bao bun, so pan-fried beef, red onion, jalapeno, and a Chinese satay peanut sauce, which sounds phenomenal. I love all of those things.
Zach is shaking his head because it's like, that's not the flavors that we sort of got from it today.
Seeing jalapenos.
I didn't taste the peanuts, so maybe we just didn't get a great batch, to be fair. But like that being said, there were two things that I didn't swallow that I put in my mouth today, and this was the other one. The first one was the oysters, and the second one was the bao. It was fatty, like. There was a piece that I broke off initially that I was going to try that was like so much fat that like I had to set it aside and taste a different bite. Like I did not love them.
Like I literally wonder, because we opened it up, right? Because after your reaction of like, that's odd. And now that you say it, when we opened it up, I didn't see. And so I wonder if the person before us was like, listen, give me the bao bun, but with nothing. Just give me a bao bun and some fat, because I mean, again, the piece that you had was fatty, but the piece I had was fine. We ordered two of them, but neither of them seemed to be dressed almost appropriately the way that they were described. So it might have been an anomaly. Maybe their star center was just out that day and they were playing with the second string scrubs, but
because I think a jalapeno would have really changed that whole flavor profile. It wouldn't have fixed it.
And texture too, like it was missing. Yeah,
it would have definitely given that crunch, because it was kind of mushy. It wasn't. I mean, and most buns are soft and they're great, but this was just not pleasing to the palate.
Well, and a little bit of a crisp of a red onion, and I love a good peanut sauce.
Yeah.
So, Yeah, I mean, maybe we just didn't have a great batch. That being said, like, the giant tostada was great. Like, I can't imagine any version of that bao bun beating out the giant tostada, which was, it's a big crispy tortilla. The barbacoa beef was really well done. It has a little bit of heat on it, but that was countered really nicely with the guac, like the creaminess from the guac. The jicama had a nice crunch, like the pumpkin seeds gave it a nice amount of texture, and the salsa. I mean, it's simple. It was a solid Mexican dish. It's not anything, it's not like the poutine where I'm like blown away by a brand new flavor profile. But it was, for what it was beautifully done. I would, it's at $11.50. It's not an inexpensive dish, but it's certainly like large and has a good amount of protein on it. So if you're trying to share it with people, it's very shareable. I mean, I don't have anything else to waste your time on. Like between the tostada and the bao bun, the tostada is 1,000% the winner.
I like bao buns, and I cannot lie. This one was not one of the better bao buns. And I've had, China usually has a bao bun. And sometimes Japan, I'm literally going to almost give a little bit of grace. Like, I want to go back and order it again. And let me be clear. Just because it's a Saturday night, just because it's spring break, just because it's crazy busy, that's not an excuse, right? Everyone should be like the hero version of the bao bun. If we got a bad one for whatever reason, it is what it is. That's who came to play, and that's what we're going to judge on. It's $7.75. We're judging $7.75 on what I feel is almost like an incomplete version of it. I'd like to judge that $7.75 versus what it could and should look and taste like. The giant tostada, and it literally is written in the book as a giant tostada because it is. And let's be clear, this is not like, a palm-sized tostada. It's like almost like a personal pan pizza size. Like it is a giant tostada, easily shareable with multiple people. So when you see the $11.50 price tag, you're like, stop the presses, Vicky Vale. But it's covered. It is covered in that barbacoa beef, as well as, like you said, the guac and the jicama. I think it has great flavor. I think it's very accessible. Kids can eat it. There's nothing spicy about it at all. There's nothing sort of off-putting. So, again, head-to-head, mano-a-mano, clearly the giant tostada wins. I do want to go back and give the beef bao bun a second chance at a later date. However, insert sports-themed music here. That brings us to the edible eights.
Oh goodness!
Now it's gonna get interesting, right? So, our edible eights, as we make our way, we have the trio of chips and dips versus the lumpia, the conch fritters versus the gnocchi provençal, the Jamaican jerk chicken is going up against the Provence poutine, and the ceviche and the tostada are going to round out the eights. Let's just go head to head, back and forth. Lisa Donato Glassner, Esquire. The trio of chips and dips versus the lumpia with plant-based pork from Citrus Blossom. Who's your winner? Who moves forward to the Flavor 4?
Okay, to be clear, this is one of the most difficult decisions I'm going to make today. Like, I mean, to be silly, but the trio of chips and dip is so good. It was one of the first things we ate. I was hungry when we ate it. It was delicious. It's shareable. All the dips are good. It's fun to have at the table with everything else. All that being said, I loved the lumpia. I thought it was so good.
That sound was my chin hitting the table.
I know. I loved both. I think the trio of chips and dip, all day long, if you're on that side of the park and you're hungry, get yourself one or two of them to share with the group that you're with. It's so, so good. But if I'm thinking about inventive tastes and new flavors and the kinds of things that I come to a festival to eat, which are the things that are a little bit different, a little bit fun and surprise me. The lumpia was, first of all, it's plant-based, which I'm not, I don't eat a strict plant-based diet, but I appreciate it as an option. Absolutely. I think it was integrated beautifully. The yuzu and the sauce just added I love yuzu, period. But it just adds that interesting twist of citrus that you can't quite place. And and the papaya slaw. I love a papaya salad too. And the papaya slaw that it's served on could have just been a pile of something that was a garnish for the dish, but instead they chose to do this really, really well done papaya slaw that was such a like fresh, crisp like twist on the fried lumpia. And again, adding the sauce to it, like putting all three of those things together to taste together. Again, two phenomenal dishes. An totally unfair like matchup this early on. Like the trio of chips and dip deserves its props all day long. But like if I'm thinking about why I'm coming to the festival and like what I'm looking for when I'm eating here, for me, the lumpia wins out. That being said, if I'm outvoted, I have full respect.
Look, this is getting to the edible 8, man. This is like, it gets serious here. So, Zachariah?
So, this is a tricky one, honestly, because I love them both.
That's what makes it fun.
It's what makes it fun and tasty, delicious. I'm going to go with the chips, and here's why. I love variety. Because those, yes, the dip was so good with the spring rolls, but with the dip, you get 3 different flavors that I'm kind of able to kind of pick and choose from and share. So that's really what puts it over for me. I just really love that feta dip. It made my tummy real happy. So I would go back to that time and time again. And I just liked the shareability factor. They both have the shareability, but I think you get a lot more for your money with the chips, and the variety is what does it for me. So I'm going with the chips.
And once again, the burden falls on me to make a decision, which I have already made. Let's break it down, right? Because it's one of those things, like if you're sitting home on your couch and you close your eyes, you could snap your finger and just make one of those appear. Which is the one that you want? And I know it depends on time of day. Value, it's $6.50 versus, it's $6 versus $6.50. It's pretty close. You get, in terms of portion sizes, you get 3 of the lumpia, you get 3 dips, and the bag of chips. Presentation and caviar. You know, a little bit of like little zhuzh of caviar on there. Presentation-wise, I think the trio of chips and dips is beautifully presented. Like, it's not just sort of like 3 slops of dip. Like, they're in their own little ramekins. I think they're garnished beautifully. The chips are super crispy, super crunchy. They're not greasy at all. Neither was the lumpia, right? We commented on that too. The lumpia was fried wonderfully and lightly. I didn't feel like gross or icky afterwards. But I think in terms of the trio of chips and dip is like a little buffet. Like you have your own little mini buffet in front of you, and you can, because we were sort of like taste testing. We went left to right, and like then mixing and matching. Which ones were we going back to? It was almost fun being able to eat it. So for me, I'm not going to belabor it. Trio of chips and dips all day, every day. Moving forward to the flavor four. Now, next round are the Florida Fresh Conch Fritters versus the Fleur de Lis Gnocchi Provençal. Who went first last time?
Lisa did. Oh, this one's tricky because they were both so good.
Lisa's making a face. Remember how good that gnocchi tasted.
I do remember how good the gnocchi tasted because I voted for it. You didn't.
Okay, so here's what I have to do. I have to separate the fact that I can't pair the conch with all the other things that I dipped it in as we were sitting there. So if it was on its own in its dip, or the gnocchi just looked brown and sad. Kind of grayish brown, but it was so good. If you said you're going to get one, what would you go pick? I think I'll go with the conch. That's kind of what my heart says. Yeah, I'm going conch.
He looked very committed to that pick.
Yeah, so again, like the kinds of things that we've been talking about and what we're considering, like the gnocchi, like got my vote last time. It surprised me a lot. It was delicious. It was an ugly little thing, but it was delicious. It's so funny. I always expect France to be like the most beautiful of the dishes, and they tend
personality. Such great personality.
They serve up delicious food, but like from a presentation perspective, I don't know. Sometimes it's just brown on brown. Yeah, I loved the gnocchi. That being said, like, it's the conch for me on this one. And it goes back to all the stuff that we've been talking about. Like, it's shareable. Like, it's interesting. I love that it wasn't just a plain aioli, but a key lime aioli, which brought like a sort of light freshness to like a fried dish. Yeah, like for me all day long, I think it's the conch is an easy decision. Two phenomenal dishes, but the conch is an easy decision.
And now that you're saying that, I feel like we always get duck from France. We have that often. So to see conch, it's something new. It gives me a reason to go, oh, let's stop here because I don't usually get this or can't get this anywhere else at the festival.
Lou Mongello's dribbling down the court for Villanova University, pulls up for the three as the conch fritter takes it in this round. The gnocchi, the flavor of the gnocchi, and I think under the right circumstances, the gnocchi would win. If it's a cooler evening outside, you've been walking around. I think if you pair the gnocchi with some of the many wonderful different drinks that you could get in France, and maybe even a dessert, it could win under the right circumstances. However, this isn't even like a buzzer beater for me. I'm like a kid at heart, man. Like, give me a bowl of cereal, give me finger foods, give me stuff that's fried and dippable. I do. I just love the simplicity of a conch fritter, and there's something comforting about this too, about the simplicity of a really good conch fritter. So the conch fritter is going to move on to the next round. I'm going to go out of order for a very specific reason. We're going to skip one, and we're going to go to the bottom of the bracket, the ceviche, the seafood ceviche from La Isla Fresca, versus the from Mexico, the giant tostada de carne. Lisa, ceviche versus tostada.
I'll save you time and not ramble on. Like, I thought the tostada was delicious. I did not care for the ceviche. I love a good ceviche. So again, like across the board, these aren't things that I don't like as a rule. Like, I like oysters. I like all these things. But yeah, the ceviche to me was it was a little bit of a miss, especially sitting up against that jerk chicken from the same place. And the price comparison might be worth mentioning at this point. Like, the ceviche was $8.25, and the jerk chicken from the same booth, the Isla Fresca, was $6.75. So yeah, for a bunch of reasons, the ceviche was not a huge winner for me. But yeah, I thought the tostada was delicious, and so that's an easy win for me.
Tostada table for two. Ceviche was fine. Just didn't hit for me. Tostada was great. Shareable, large. Again, larger price tag, but you do get a lot. So, tostada.
Jordan leaping from the foul line, slam dunk for the tostada. I think the ceviche is fine. And I think the ceviche is a light, refreshing dish. And especially, look, you obviously have to love seafood, which I do. There was nothing that I didn't like about it. Do not let the $11.50 price tag of the tostada fool you. For what you get, not just in terms of size, but in terms of flavor. The amount of meat that was on there, like, justifies the price for me. So I have no issue with it in that regard. So the tostada is going to move on to the flavor 4 round. The last of the Elite 8 head-to-head. La Isla Fresca steps up with the Jamaican jerk chicken to go head-to-head with the Refreshment Ports Provence Poutine. Zach Brown.
I mean, I love you, poutine. I really do. And
that's like how you start. I'm about to break up with you.
Well, that's what I was gonna say. It's not you. It's me. And I'm going full jerk chicken because it was just fantastic. Price, portion, flavor. It was amazing. I just loved that. I want the poutine. I'll bring you along. I'll come back and get you again. I promise. But jerk chicken.
This is almost not fair this early on, because far and away, possibly.
Well, we almost did when the bracket laid out. We almost couldn't have expected this.
No, not at all, and that's why this is so much fun. This is why this is so cool. But like jerk chicken versus the jerk chicken shocked the heck out of me. But the poutine and the jerk chicken, easily, possibly my top 2 of the whole festival that we've tried of the new stuff. Like, very possibly my top 2. The poutine, as we were eating it, I was figuring out how to recreate it at home. Like I was like, okay, I can do this drizzle. We could do the I
Or you can spend the 7 minutes and drive here.
True. But like the poutine is so inventive and so delicious, such a perfect combination of like sweet and salty and the creaminess of the cheese. Like I loved everything about it. I absolutely want to figure out how to make it at home. That being said, I could not make that jerk chicken at my house. I have no idea how they pulled it off. If we're taking price tags into account, like again, the $6.75 price tag for that huge plate of food was probably the best value of the festival. So it breaks my heart to eliminate the poutine at this early of a stage because it's one of the best things that I ate all day. But I think I'm going to put my vote with the jerk chicken.
So the officials are convening on the sidelines because I'm trying to see. So that's 2 votes for the jerk chicken. Like, do I have like the authority to override, if I so choose, the 2 versus 1?
I mean, it's so close to me that I would respect your...
Like, so I'm going to take you inside my head, which is a frightening place. But when I try the jerk chicken, I'm like, there's no way this is not making it into the finals. Like, there's no way. Like, there is absolutely no way. However, that poutine, let's think back. Go back to the ingredient list of the poutine. And you're like, Mangello, it's only French fries. No, it's not. It's not, quote unquote, only French fries. Look at what the ingredient list of the poutine is. The goat brie, one of which Lisa dropped on the floor. I'll probably never get over that. I'll never get over Macho Grande. The lavender honey, hazelnut croquant, and the fresh lavender. So honey, brie, hazelnut on French fries is so unlike anything we've tasted before. Like, we've had jerk chicken, we've had rice, we've had plantains. We love those flavors. But Zach, don't look at me like that. But how, like, think back, just standing by itself, how good that poutine was.
It was good. I just don't want to live in a world where the tostada moves ahead and the chicken doesn't.
As you're talking, I could go. I mean, I truly, like, they were as I'm looking at this list, they were the 2 best things I ate. They absolutely were. It's killing me to eliminate.
Right. They shouldn't meet in the finals.
They
really.
should. Yeah. I mean, the most beautiful conversation would be a showdown between those 2 things at the end because they both deserve to be there. They're so good. And you're right. Like it's completely what I'm weighing it based on. Am I talking about like straight up just like taste, like a taste I couldn't reproduce on my own, like value? Absolutely. Like jerk chicken all day long. Just like basic, like the thing I would want to like eat with my friends around a table at the festival. It's probably the poutine, especially when I've got like, again, we were like, this was the same initial table where we had the trio of cheeses out. So we were like playing with those with the fries and like, it's delicious.
Think of like you think of like presentation of poutine. Usually it's like French fries and gravy and cheese curds. Like there was like the flowers on top. It was beautiful. Like it was a beautiful, like I heard the angels sing as it was put down. And the first time we put it in our mouth, we looked at each other like, what did we just eat? However, Zach has his head on his hands. You look like my mother. Like, what are you about to say, Louis? I can't get him. I'm back and forth, honestly. I am. I talk myself. Because on one hand, I want to say the poutine is so different. It's presented so beautifully. It's so fun and shareable that it should win. The flavor of the jerk chicken and having that 3-course meal and what might put the jerk chicken over. And it's, look, we're talking about a relatively de minimis amount. The jerk chicken was $6.75. The poutine was $9. So you're spending less money and you're getting meat and you're getting almost, I mean, plantain is not necessarily like a dessert, but it's so sweet that it was a dessert.
God, you think about it that way? When you look at how much, again, it's a still good value, but how much more you get for less. I know I'm waving the flag hard for chicken, but you think about $6 whatever. Yeah. You're not going to get that going to Chick-fil-A.
Look,
it's the value. I mean, the value is a huge part of it. I could, like I said before, like I could take my kids to the festival, get them one or two of those to like eat, and they'd be full for the night. Like that's unheard of with a festival item.
Canada, I love you so much. And the poutine that you brought into this world, I'm going to do my best Canadian impression when I say sorry. I think the jerk chicken has to move ahead. I think the jerk chicken has to move forward into the flavorful round. So here, we're down to our final four. The trio of chips. The conch fritters. Look at the conch fritters. Little conch fritters. The little engine that could, making its way to the final four. And the jerk chicken versus the tostada. Give me your trio of chips versus conch fritters. Who moves ahead?
I mean, trio of chips all day long. I've talked enough about them. We've all talked enough about them. Like the conch fritters were good, but they were like partly good. The key lime aioli was very good, but like the conch fritters were partly so good because we had the cheese from the trio of dips to dip them in. Like, yeah, I mean, no question. The conch was it was delicious. Like
dollar for dollar, they're equal. They're equal.
Yeah, I mean, and all the more. Are they the same? So the trio of chips. The trio of chips is $6.50, and the conch fritters are $6.50. Oh, literally the same price. Oh, easy, even easier then. Like that trio of chips, from the presentation to the shareability to like the inventiveness of the meal to how much it like mixes with everything else at the table. Yeah, like the trio of chips, I'm at peace with that advancing to the end.
Papa loves you both. It's got. It is the chips. I go back to my variety. You're going to get full on the conch, which is going to be great. But the chips are just tasty. It's the flavor. You get the variety. There's so many things. Yeah, chips. Chips. Yeah, chips.
There's so much happening with the trio of chips and dips.
Yeah.
And even if one of those dips is not your favorite, there's two other ones, or just eat the chips on your own.
And I also like that it's a brand new booth. It's not like, oh, this is something new from a booth. It's the rookie of the year right now. Yeah. It's coming out. It's a standout. It had a lot to prove. You know what I mean? If this didn't work out, they might say, hey, we're not going to do that booth again next year. I think this alone makes me want them to bring these booths back for next year. So good on you.
Right. The fact that it's an all rookie team right, over at the Yacht Grub, it does. And it's like the Cinderella story. Like the trio of chips and dip is the Cinderella story of this year's Flower and Garden Festival. I think the other one, I'm sure we're not going to spend much time debating the jerk chicken versus the tostada.
I don't even know how the tostada got this far. Honestly, I feel like
lucky seating.
Yeah, it just kept kind of sneaking in the back door when the security guy was looking the other way. Jerk chicken. I mean, no question. Save the people time.
Yeah, I mean, so far for me, the tostada has beaten the bao, which I hated. And the ceviche, which, I mean, I probably disliked it more than the two of you did. And I like a good ceviche. It just wasn't for me.
There was a lot of times I wish we were videotaping. I mean, I have some video of, I wish there was a reaction video of just some of the, if you thought Ashley Eckstein's reactions of the Cake Bake Shop were great, Lisa Nuraglasser's reactions of some of the things she did not like would have been with Instagram gold.
Yeah, I was going to say probably a different reaction type. But I mean, good on for the tostada. Like, good for you for making it so far. Good for you. Like, bravo, you did great. Like, and you got knocked out by the champ. The thing that's beating you is the jerk chicken. So no shame to the tostada. If you're in the mood for Mexican food, go get yourself one. But jerk chicken, needless to say.
Tostada, do not sit on the sidelines with a towel over your head. Like, you went farther than anybody expected you to in this tournament. And the fact that you got that seating against the jerk chicken, it was an unfortunate break. And I think this was probably one of the clearest, blowouts almost of it, especially as we get down to the final four. If you would have asked me at the beginning of the day who I thought would be battling for the top taste from the Savory 16 of the 2025 EPCOT Flower and Garden Festival, if you would have told me that it was a trio of chips and dips versus jerk chicken, I would have been like, absolutely not. And yet here we are. Lisa Nurdo Glassner, it is down to 2. The trio of chips and dips, the rookie of the year, the sensation, the sweetheart of the Sweet 16, coming in completely out of left field, going against the surprise behemoth of this year's festival, the Jerk Chicken. Who takes the prize?
So there are no losers here, right?
Except for the team that loses.
Except for the Bao Bun.
Look, the Bao Bun had a lot of injuries this year. I think there was some coaching issues. There was a lot of scandal, like in the booth. But
no, I mean, listen, they're both phenomenal. What are you in the mood for? Like, where are you in the park? Are you up front? Are you in the back? Like, there's no losers here. All that being said, like, there's a reason why we've been struggling over the Jerk Chicken. I mean, the Jerk Chicken deserves to win. It was the huge surprise. The trio is wonderful. There's a bunch of other stuff we've talked about that was also wonderful. But the Jerk Chicken was the one thing that we ate all day where I think all of us were just in shock between the portion size, how delicious it was, what a really great balance.
Just close your eyes and think back for a second. Think back to the beginning of the day, to that joy that you had, like, oh my God, like this dip is so good. This next dip is even better. Which one do I love more? I want you to just take a second before you just.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, they were wonderful. They were so good. Like, I'm not taking anything away from the cheeses and handmade chips, but at the end of the day, it was cheeses and handmade chips, and they were delicious. And again, both great values. The trio was $6.50 and the Jerk Chicken was $6.75. But even that, next to each other, the Jerk chicken is only 25 cents more, and you're getting this huge bowl of rice and beans, a good portion of chicken, and the plantains on the side, and the quality with which the entire nothing in it was throwaway, the rice and beans. You might think that they were just sort of there, but they were beautifully done too. So again, there's no losers here. If you're in the mood for one or the other, you can't go wrong with either, along with some other things that we've talked about today. But yeah, I mean, the Jerk Chicken deserves it.
There are no losers because we got to eat all of the things. If I'm walking in Epcot, I'm coming in for lunch or I'm coming in for dinner, and I have one thing that I'm able to eat, and I have to deliberate between chips or a complete meal, I'm going with the Jerk Chicken. And think about this. Where else in all of Epcot can you get essentially a complete meal for less than $7? It's a steal. You're going to be full. It tastes delicious. And I think we decided, I mean, at that point when we had this, even as full and hot and tired as we were, when it sat down, I went, that's so much food, I'm overwhelmed. So knowing if I was coming into that my first thing, I would have not let either of you touch the bowl. I would have devoured the entire thing and been very satisfied. Without question, Jerk Chicken.
If I'm sitting home and you say, Lou, you can go to Epcot and eat one thing, or I can just have it transported to you right here on your little couch while you're watching Daredevil, which is one of the best things Marvel's ever put on screen, big or small, but it's beside the point. I'd be like, oh, the chips and dip, man. I'm a snacker. I'm a little snacker. I like to dip, and I get this little buffet, right, with this mini buffet of flavors. I wish this could be 0.3 seconds, inbound the ball. It's a steal. It's a shot from half court, sink in the three. The underdog comes out and wins. But I got to give it to the Jerk Chicken. I think the Jerk Chicken, again, not to take anything away from the preparation and the presentation, which I loved, of the chips and dips, but they are dips. You can taste the love that was put into that Jerk Chicken, right? The care in the recipe, when I say intensity of the flavors, I don't mean overly intense, but I mean they made sure that it lived up to the name of Jerk. The rice was so flavorful. The plant, every part, every sort of aspect of the dish hit. There was no sort of weak link in any of the three aspects of it. It's a huge portion. It's shareable. It is a full meal for under $7. I think it's super accessible. I think it's also unique. I don't think there's anything else you can find like that anywhere else, not just on a festival, but in property. And I think it's one of the best items I've ever had at any festival, period. Like, I really do think it's that good, and I think we are all in agreement. It's the surprise of the tournament. The jerk chicken, we fell in love very, very quickly, and that did not waver, no matter going through the brackets or continuing on through the booths. And the jerk chicken is our 2025 EPCOT Flower and Garden Savory 16 winner. La Isla Fresca, located in between France and Morocco, is an absolute must visit if you come back to this year's festival.
And we weren't that hungry when we hit that booth. Like, we had been eating for hours at that point, and it was fun. I mean, because you make your way all the way around, and we were trying all of the things that we were just talking about. So that jerk chicken was, I did not eat that on an empty stomach at all. I was not hungry when I ate that. The trio of chips, I would have loved them no matter when we had them, but it was one of the very first things that we ate, and we loved it, and rightfully so. But like, that jerk chicken came out and won, like, on pretty full stomachs. So bravo.
By that point in our walk around the world, I had run out of steam. I was done. I was not hungry, like Lisa said. So when that bowl was sat in front of me, to be perfectly honest, I was not excited. I was like, good grief, this is so much, and was delightfully surprised. If you would have asked me at the beginning of the day, what would your final pick be? That would not have been probably my top 3. But I loved that. I would go back and will go back and get it again. It was great.
Well, if you'd asked me very early in the day, I'm like, man, I don't know. That poutine is going to be pretty impossible to beat. And as we were going through, I'm like, no, this isn't doing it. This isn't doing it. And I didn't remember sort of what the seatings were in the festival. I will say this. The nice thing is, you don't have to decide. You start off your day, you walk into EPCOT, you bear right, frog left, you bear right, thank you for catching that. And you go over to the Yacht Grub, right? Your kids can go and play in the wonderful little playground there. There's covered areas, there's seating. It's wonderful. You make your way to the back of World Showcase, and you have the jerk chicken. And the one mistake that we made is that we didn't pair it with one of the beverages. They have a citrus slushy. Simply lemonade, simply grapefruit, and simple syrup. They have a non-alcoholic one and one with Don Q Limon rum. There's also a Woodchuck Chuck's Imperial Wild Tropics hard cider and a Florida Orange Groves Winery Hurricane Class 5 tropical sangria, which would probably be a lovely little pairing, whether alcohol or not. I want to know from you, our friend who's been listening, if you're still here or if you've run to EPCOT to try any or all these, which have you tried? Which do you love? Which made your top taste in 2025? Or, as you know, it's hard to sort of describe. I'm going to post a video with some of the things that give you a look at some of the things that we've tried on Instagram and in the Clubhouse over at www.radio.com/Clubhouse. I want to know, what are you most excited to come and try? Or is there something that we missed? These are the new flavors. If you have your just overall savory favorite flavor of this year's festival, let me know. Or if you come to EPCOT, better yet, call the voicemail. Let me hear you go through your own Savory 16. I will post this as I'll post this as a shareable Google Sheet, so you can go and print it out and sort of have fun with your friends and family and do it on your own over in the WW Radio Close. I'll actually post this on the website at www.radio.com. Click on this week's podcast. Let me know what you thought of this segment, of the way that we approached this, and who knows, maybe we'll do this going forward. Zach, Lisa, thank you both very much for being here. Please tell people where they can find you on the internets as well.
You can find me on my site, The Castle Run, where I talk about our move to Disney and me rewriting a life post-law and all of my Run Disney shenanigans. You can also find me at thousandcircles.com, where I share the beautiful details of Walt Disney World in art that you can hang on your walls. And for a while now, I've been releasing an image every single day that you can subscribe to an email on the site to get that and join in on the fun there as well.
And you can find me on Instagram or Facebook with The Zach Brown Show. That's my podcast. I introduce you to old friends for the first time. everybody has their passion and their story to share. And so we just sit and have a conversation and find those similarities that make us all, a little more friendly and the world that much more small.
And I will post links to all of those over in the show notes and over in the clubhouse. Thank you guys so much. This was so much fun. And as much as I initially I was hesitant to want to share my food with you. Food is better when it is shared with friends and with you guys. So I appreciate you both being here. Let's do this again. Maybe not 16 dishes along the way. But this was a lot of fun. I really appreciate you guys.
Thanks for having me. Enjoyed the time.
This was a blast. I love doing it this way. This was really fun. I hope everybody else enjoyed it too.
We're super full. If you could go back and just eat one more thing. Just one thing right now, what would it be?
Maybe the lumpia right now in this moment, because that was the first thing I looked at.
I think I'd go back to the conch fritters.
Oh, you know what? Never mind. I would get the poutine. I would get the poutine all day.
Can we just share so I don't have to have a full portion?
You know what I would do right now? I'd snap my fingers, I'd go to Japan, and I'd get the ramen and the frushi, and I would sit up under the rustling bamboo, and I'd watch the world go by on the promenade and wait for illuminations to eventually come. Wait for illuminations to eventually come back. I know, this is a little too soon. When's the next festival start? We should come back and do the sweets.
That'll be fun.
Sugar coma.
Not tonight. I need a nap. I need to loosen my belt and take a very, very long nap.
Stretchy pants.
My stretchy pants have outstretched the stretchiness. It's time for our Walt Disney World Trivia Question of the Week, where you can test your Disney knowledge with a fun question about Disney history, a hidden detail, or maybe a classic sound from the parks. If you answer correctly using the online form, you can enter for a chance to win a Disney prize package. And this week's trivia contest is once again brought to you by the most important part of WDW Radio, which is you. And by joining the WDW Radio Nation, you not only help support the podcast, live shows, and events, but you become part of the magic that makes it all possible. And for as little as $1 per month, you unlock exclusive rewards like scavenger hunts, monthly group video calls, a private community, surprise care packages from the parks, and much more. More importantly, your support helps power our Dream Team project, which has raised more than $550,000 to benefit Make-A-Wish to bring real Disney magic to kids and families that need it most. Learn more and join the nation today over at www.radio.com/support. And I want to give some huge thanks to some new and longtime members of the Nation family, including Tori Hunt, Roseanne Lang, Amy, No Name, and Kevin Shea. I sincerely love and appreciate you. But before we get to this week's question, let's go back, review last week's, and select our winner. So last week we were talking about some of the hidden details and Easter eggs in Walt Disney World, and one of my favorites being the Roger Rabbit cutout over at Disney's Hollywood Studios. And your question was to tell me, what book was Who Framed Roger Rabbit based on? And the answer is a 1981 novel called Who Censored Roger Rabbit by Gary K. Wolfe. And while it inspired the movie, it's very different in tone and content. Roger Rabbit is a comic strip character, not a cartoon. And it's a little more darker in tone. It introduced different themes and characters that were later adapted, altered, or left out of the 1988 film, which is produced by Touchstone Pictures, directed by Robert Zemeckis, and blended live-action animation. And if you're curious, you can still find the book and the two sequels, Who Plugged, that's in the title, it's not me trying to do it, Who Plugged Roger Rabbit in 1991, and Who Whacked Roger Rabbit in 2013. And if you want to learn more about Roger Rabbit in the parks, you can go back to episode number 6 with the 7 Wonders of Walt Disney World and a deep dive DSI Disney Scene investigation into Roger Rabbit. And then show 327, we talk about what is, what was, and what might have been in terms of Roger Rabbit coming to Walt Disney World. Anyway, I took all the correct entries, randomly selected one. Last week, you were playing for the keychain, the stickers, pin, and a mystery prize. And last week's winner, randomly selected, is Olivia Mitchell. So, Olivia, congratulations. Your prize package is on its way. And if you played last week and didn't win, that's okay, because this might be your week in our next Walt Disney World Trivia Challenge. So as long as we're talking about the EPCOT International Flower and Garden Festival, your question is simply to tell me, in what year did the very first EPCOT Flower and Garden Festival debut. That's it. I just need the year. All you need to do is go to www.radio.com, click on this week's podcast, use the form there. You have until Sunday, April 6th at 11:59 p.m. Eastern to enter. So good luck and have fun. That's going to do it for this week's show. Thank you so much for listening and being part of the WW Radio community and family. I am sincerely grateful for you, your time, your friendship, and support. Remember, you are not a fan, you are a friend. Next week, I'll be traveling to and speaking at Podcast Movement Evolutions in Chicago. I'll try and share as much as I can from there and go live as I normally do on Wednesday at 7:30 p.m. Eastern on Facebook and YouTube. And don't forget that if you want to come with me on an immersive, in-depth, guided walking tour of Walt Disney World, my audio guides to Walt Disney World are now available free as a podcast. It's like you and I are walking through the Magic Kingdom as I share the secrets, history, and fun facts in a binaural 3D audio immersive experience. Just search for WDW Audio Guides wherever you get your podcasts. And of course, if you dig them, and I hope that you do, please subscribe, rate, and review, and most importantly, share them with somebody else that you think would enjoy them. And if those just make you miss Walt Disney World more than ever, don't forget to book your next trip, not just to Walt Disney World, Land, Adventures by Disney, Disney Cruise Line, or anywhere on the planet with our friends over at Mouse Fan Travel. I have used and trusted and recommended Mouse Fan Travel to friends and family like you to help plan stress-free, unforgettable vacations. And of course, their expert personalized service is completely free to you. No fees, just magic. Get a free no obligation quote for anywhere you're going over at mousefantravel.com. And speaking of yet another reason or excuse to come to Walt Disney World, my Momentum Weekend Workshop is now 4 days, October 16th through the 20th, 2025. Whether you are a creator, solopreneur, entrepreneur, or business owner looking to build, grow, and monetize your business and brand, Momentum is a one-room, 50-person workshop experience with hands-on strategies that allow you to not just network, but do the work in the room. I also have an optional 6-person Mastermind Monday if you really want to deep dive into your business, goals, strategies, and challenges. And now you can still take advantage of my super early bird pricing that ends very soon. You can save $200, and we're almost halfway sold out for this year's event, so don't wait. To learn more, visit LouMangello.com. And if you want to bring a little bit of Disney magic to your business, brand, or event, I share Disney-inspired lessons on customer experience, service, innovation, leadership, and storytelling to help businesses, schools, and teams create unforgettable experiences, enhance customer loyalty, spark creativity, and lead like Walt. To learn more about my custom keynotes and workshops, again, visit LouMangello.com. And remember, just because it is the end of the episode, it does not mean it is the end of the fun. Come be part of the community and conversation over in the WW Radio Clubhouse on Facebook at www.radio.com/clubhouse. Let me hear your thoughts about this year's festival. Call the voicemail at 407-900-9391. You can even just call with a question, a comment, or hello from the parks. And remember, that as much as I love connecting with you online, nothing beats a handshake and a hug. So check out the events page at www.radio.com for upcoming Meets of the Month in Walt Disney World, group cruises including On the Destiny in February 2026, Adventures by Disney, and much, much more. And don't forget to subscribe to my free weekly email newsletter so you don't miss a thing. And as always, my friend, and you are my friend, whether we have met yet or not, all I ask is that if you like the show, please help spread the word, share the show, and tell a friend. So please remember to be kind, choose the good, have an amazing day, and even better tomorrow. So until next time, stay hungry. See ya.
Hey Lou, this is Matt Peters from Lancaster, Pennsylvania. I just listened to your last episode of In or Out. I wish more the fact that they would do more storytelling, but with more thrill rides. I think that would be great. More like Tron or Guardians of the Galaxy. Like, I do love my old school style rides of Peter Pan's Flight, or even back when Snow White's Scary Adventure was. But more of that, like how they're about to do Monsters Inc. The roller coaster there. That's really exciting. But yeah, that's kind of what I had on my mind after listening to the episode. Thanks. Have a great day. Bye.
Blue, it's Patrice Roberti from Metro Boston. It's Tuesday. It's the 25th of March. After you did an at-the-long show from a cake bakery, you, not a sweet guy, the rumors started and people's hopes were getting up. Because everyone knew a cupcake wasn't going to do it, a chocolate chip cookie wasn't going to do it, But then you found the cake that was big enough and had so many ingredients enough that you could hide the file in it. And now Tim Foster is out of jail and back on the show. It was a joy to hear you two together, the way you kid and everything. And I hope he's back again soon. And I hope he doesn't end up in jail again. Take care. Bye.
Well, time flies. Okay, show's over. Get out of here, you little numbskulls. I love you. Thank you for coming today. Get out! Ciao. Arigato gozaimashita. All feet are the same. Bony knock knees. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Have a nice day. Bye-bye. 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 Bye-bye.